Yes.
Now, Councilmember Wells, thank you so much for joining us. Good to have you here.
Good morning.
All right, so let me make sure I have this clear. You were against the Walmart bill, the Large Retailer Accountability Act.
Large Retailer Accountability.
As it's sometimes called. And you were against that, and it went to the mayor's desk on an 8-5 vote. If the mayor vetoes it and it comes back, well, you'd have to have, it had to be one more vote in favor of the legislation to override the mayor's veto.
That's right.
Are you changing your mind at all on your original vote? Would you be persuadable on that?
I don't think you should write bills or legislation just for one corporation, even though it will hit other corporations as well. But so what I've done is that I've put out a proposal.
Well, hold on. I mean, I didn't get a straight answer. Would you be open to reconsideration? No.
No, absolutely not.
You will stick with your original vote, so you would not be that vote that would override the mayor's veto, because one hears the mayor is going to veto it, and then we also heard from Phil Middleton said he's going to be looking around for one more vote to override the veto. Wouldn't be you.
Oh, absolutely not.
All right.
But
now,
I do think that we should raise the minimum wage in D.C.
Yeah, you're in favor now of raising the minimum wage to $12.50 for everyone. All corporations would have to pay.
I think that we have to decide what it is. But I know that the president has talked about minimum wage should be $9.25, which is $1 more than what D.C.'s minimum wage currently is. And then we should look at possibly $1 more further than tying it to the cost of living. That's what Congress should have done years ago. Tie the minimum wage to the cost of living.
So you say $10.25?
Yes.
That's what you'd be in favor for. Well, do you think that would have any currency with the current council?
Absolutely, because I think that we could also raise the standard deduction for the 75% of the people that make $75,000 or less. They take the standard deduction. We should look at raising that so people keep more of their money as well. And then have the largest employers that have part-time workers pay into a healthy D.C. fund that helps offset the cost of Medicaid and the D.C. Alliance, which is insurance that the taxpayers pay for people that are, in poor means. So I think we can balance this out, but we should do something that helps the majority of D.C. folks that are, have lower income, not just target one big retailer.
Councilmember Tommy Wells is our guest. He's also a candidate for mayor of the District of Columbia. And, the representatives at Walmart have been pretty vocal about their displeasure with the Large Retailer Accountability Act. And they have said that if the mayor does sign this, or if it does pass, his veto was overridden, they're going to pull out their stores. Now, have you had any contact with any of the representatives at Walmart floated your idea of this living wage, which would be $1 higher than the current minimum wage? Have you floated that to them, and do you think that Walmart would be amenable to staying in the district with their new stores if your law was passed?
Well, D.C.'s minimum wage is already $1 more than the national average, and Walmart was coming in. And so I think that if it's not just something targeted at them, that, it's something that all businesses will have to share in, I believe that they will come in.
But have you heard from them? Have you had any outreach? Does your office have any specific knowledge of their opinion of this?
Not yet.
Okay, great. And listen, while we've got you, and this is, we want to take your calls on this if you want to chime in on Councilmember Wells' idea here, 888-630-9625. Make it a living wage across the board for all stores, 888-630 WMAL. In the meantime, so we had some news about your colleague, Marion Barry, last week. We understand that you were meeting behind closed doors with the other council members about what are you going to do about Councilmember Barry. Of course, his latest revelation here is that he accepted gifts, a pretty substantial amount of gifts. What are you going to do about him?
Well, first off, there's a separate committee. None of the mayoral candidates are on that committee, but it's a 5-member committee to talk about what the council will do in terms of censure, possibly remove his committee, or anything else related to what happened. But, yeah, he was given money by a contractor, two contractors, as, I guess, gifts. And that's something that we're not allowed to do.
Yeah, you're running on a strict zero tolerance for any kind of corruption kind of platform.
Absolutely.
I mean, that is item number one for you for your mayoral campaign. So what are you recommending to your colleagues that they should do about Marion Barry?
Well, we've had 3 of my colleagues that are under ethical problems, and I'm not talking about the 3 that have already been indicted for bad behavior. I think that the whole thing related to pay to play in the district politics, there should be no corporate dollars in our campaigns, like 23 other states, that when you run for election, somebody's name should be on your check. And so that's what I'm doing as I run for mayor.
But I haven't heard you say what you think should be done to Marion Barry.
Well, I think that there will be a council censor, and there may be something related to...
I mean, he's been censured before. It didn't do anything.
Yeah, that's true.
So, I mean, why would you go down that path again when it didn't have any real impact the first time?
Come on, Councilmember Wells, zero tolerance.
I think the council has got to do something. There's not a lot that the council can do, and I'm sure the council is not going to go far enough to try to remove him. That would take 11 votes, and the votes are not there to remove Marion.
All right.
But I think the council has to do something to show that this is not tolerable.
If it was a committee of one, that member being Tommy Wells,
what would you do?
Well, Marion got voted in. Has he done enough in this case to be removed from office? No. But Marion should definitely be consequented so that everybody knows. I would remove his committee. And the fact that he took money from contractors and that, he took $6,000 on contracts that we're voting on, that it really just shows that
that's pretty that's pretty egregious. I mean, in some places you could go to jail for doing that.
Well, he disclosed it. The reason we even know it is because he put it on his.
Well, that doesn't make it right. Just because you.
Just because he was bragging about it.
Yeah, come on.
The Board of Ethics said, Marion, you've got to pay double that amount back to the government. So he's being dinged for $13,000.
Right.
So he's paying a pretty high fine for it.
All right. Getting back real quick to the Walmart vote, do you have any sense if there's another council member on? I mean, because look, the word he hasn't said so officially, but the word. I mean, Channel 4's been reporting for days now that when that bill hits his desk, he's going to veto it. Do you have the sense that there's another council member who might switch his or her vote to override the mayor's veto?
The pressure the first time in the first vote was pretty brutal. I can't imagine that someone could bring more pressure to change a vote. The unions sent out cards with our pictures on it across the city saying these guys are not doing what we want them to do, and the pressure was pretty brutal on the 5 of us that voted against it. And so I can't imagine that anybody would be changing their vote.
Just so you really felt the brunt of voting against this.
Absolutely.
And the unions really pulled out all the stops, is what you're saying.
Absolutely. Yes.
Can you give us an idea of behind the scenes what kind of pressure was being applied?
Just regular visits by people that come to your office and talk to you and say this is a big deal and we're going to remember this.
You're going to remember this. So if you run for you are running for the office of mayor, and given what you have, you're going to be running without union support, correct?
Well, I've always been independent in the sense that I'll do what I think is right, and sometimes I'm with the unions 100%, sometimes I'm not. So I think that running for mayor, I think people want someone that they can trust to make their own decisions.
All right, as our time runs down, what's your prediction? Will the mayor indeed veto this thing? And by the way, why isn't it on his desk already?
That's a good question. That's a great question. I do not know why that has not come from the chair of the council to gone to the mayor yet. I don't know if the chair is looking for time to try to flip a vote or not, but I don't see a vote he can flip. So it should be on the mayor's desk by now. And my prediction is that the mayor comes from Ward 7. That's an area where you can't get any fresh groceries or any they're food deserts. And so I think that the mayor has negotiated some economic deals to bring in new retailers to help neighborhoods that have none. I think the mayor's going to support what he's done and not change the rules.
All right. D.C. Council Member Tommy Wells running for mayor also. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, great to have you.